Yeah, thanks, Tim, and hello, everyone. I'm Alastair Wilkie, Change Financial CEO. I thought I'd just provide a little context before we go into the presentation that Change was actually founded in 2015 as an Australian company. We listed on the ASX in 2016, but importantly, we operated in the USA and exclusively until 2020. It was at that point that we actually made a strategic acquisition as part of our global growth plans. So it's been a challenging year and rewarding too. And what I'll do is I'll just share a bit of corporate overview, give you a bit of brief outline of our product services, and then some insights to our financial metrics and commercial plans. So you could just shift to the first slide. Thanks, Tim. The next one, yep. Okay, so Change Financial is really a payment solution and service provider. And of course, as a global business, we continually monitor the market and assess the key drivers that are affecting our market. And banks and fintechs are really the main customers that we have in our operations. And they themselves have been driving a lot of technology modernization, like moving to cloud and SaaS, software as a service type model to effectively reduce their costs and also start to uplift their increased customer engagement through bringing new clients on board. And look, from a consumer point of view, which is also important to us, even though we're a B2B business, the preferences they've really been driving is around seamless digital and mobile payments. And the fundamental shift that we've really looked at in the last year or so has been to simplify that payments experience for both our clients and for their customers too. So just move on to the next slide. Thanks, Tim. So at the heart of our business is really two core solutions. So we are fundamentally, as a payments as a service and payments testing solutions are the two core products. And these really fit within what we call the banking as a service ecosystem. So we're a component part of the overall banking service that's provided to consumers. And we actually have two main solutions. The Vertex one is the integration of our US payments processing platform, and also what we've acquired in the last year from a local acquisition that we made in Australia and New Zealand. And fundamentally, that solution provides payments through virtual cards, prepaid debit and credit. And along with that, all the necessary digital wallets and Apple Pays to give that good consumer experience. But at the core of our business in this particular software solution is actually transaction processing. I'll go on a little bit later on to talk about payments testing. It's a really important product to us, but suffice it to say that our payments testing solutions become a bit of a de facto standard in the market. We have over 120 blue chip banks, fintechs, and schemes across the globe that actually use this product. And I'll give some insights on that shortly. So we just move to the next slide, Tim. Thanks. So we've really positioned our business to capitalize on all the growth that we've experienced over the last couple of years. And we have a large and growing client base. So we have staff in 5 countries, managing 136 clients who actually have an average tenure of about 8 years with the business overall. And notably, we've added 10 new clients across 9 countries in this past year with our testing solution. So we've really leveraged our technology to provide scalable solutions and to our clients, and there are over 16 million cards that are actually processed through our platforms worldwide, and it can be offered in 99 currencies. And as you can see there, we do actually operate with and are compatible with all the major schemes, including MasterCard, Visa, and so on. And then next slide, thanks, Tim. So just taking a little snapshot of the products. I've talked about the top layer, which is about what the physical, big digital and cards are all about, but we are a service provider too. And the thing that we want to focus on is with our Vertex platform is that I'd say it's a mixture and a combination of our US platform along with our acquisition of a global management card system in Australia and New Zealand. So we really continue to support all our on-premises customers, of course, who are mainly large banks, and we have actually transitioned our platforms into a functionally rich SaaS, a software as a service solution focused on the card issuing. So we offer loyalty programs, integration, connection to reward gateways, And as one of the previous speakers talked about buy now, pay later, well, this is some functionality that we've actually had in our platforms for a number of years, and I'll give you a little case study on that later. But what we really provide here is that we can provide the banks and the fintechs with the opportunity to deliver that buy now, pay later experience to their clients through their existing card schemes. So that kind of avoids them having to go out and set it up with Zip or Klarna or any of the large players. Program management services have become a really important part of what we offer to market. A lot of the sort of smaller banks and fintechs don't really want to run card programs themselves. They're a brand and they want to put their brand and their app out there. So we offer that service behind the scenes, and we can take some of that burden off them. That includes compliance if that's required. But it's really about our clients deciding what parts of the customer experience do they want to manage, and we can manage the rest for them. And as I mentioned earlier, we do continue to offer our on-premises software solutions to link into their banks, but primarily we're moving towards that SaaS model now. So next slide, thanks, Tim. So we just take a couple of use cases to maybe help illustrate what we do. Well, ME Bank is actually one of our larger clients. They actually have over 450,000 cards that are actually in operation in the business. They're a very advanced company relative to what they do in the market. They've been with us for 9 years, and I'd say they're probably one of the leading edge innovative digital technologies that they actually provide to their clients. They have two products. One's a buck card, which is a debit, and the other is a frank card, which is a credit card. And the really important thing about what they do is that they actually have a great onboarding experience. So when somebody phones up and actually asks if they can have a card and they go through the various KYC, they can, once they're approved, actually have a card up and running within 5 minutes. And that instant issuance into multiple digital wallets is really critical for them. And you can see that they do also offer all the main pay options like Apple, Google, Samsung. It's a really slick interface. And it's highly desirable to our existing clients, many of who want to deliver that same experience to their cardholders. And one of our major large clients is BDO Unibank in the Philippines. They're the largest bank. They have about 2.5 million cardholders running on our platform. They're also a long-term customer of ours over a decade, and they're a big user of our buy now, pay later capability, which is built into the solution. They have two products. One is Install Play, which is a dedicated buy now, pay later card where every single transaction, coffees, movies, so on, goes onto that card, and that can be split out into installments. Then we have another major product called Major Purchase, and it's a similar product to what you see in Australia now through Westpac and Commonwealth Bank. It's run over the existing rails, but it's really aimed at large purchases, and customers can turn this large purchase into installments, and then they can decide on the frequency and the number of repayments. It's really up to the cardholder to control. So good examples of the sort of solutions that our clients are using and how they actually affect the consumer in the market. And then moving on, Tim, to the next slide on our PSIM technology. I'm going to discuss this amazing testing platform called PSIM. It's many companies, when they go through kind of moving cards into market, fall foul of inadequate or, let's say, challenging manual and physical testing on the rails, the networks and the schemes, how they take it to market. And they typically don't realize there's an error until a consumer is phoning them and actually asking them to help them because they can't withdraw cash from an ATM. Well, with the PSIM tool, we can do all that testing virtually. From a desktop at home, you can simulate ATM and POS terminal transactions. And it allows banks and fintechs to really stress test all of the iterations of the potential transaction faults. And PSIM can actually simulate over 69,000 transaction iterations, which is why it's such a widely used product. And so for managing a card program updates or launching new payment solutions, the banks and the fintechs can reduce their time to market and also allow their teams to work remotely, which, as you can imagine, during a pandemic has been really important to them. But to give you a real example of where this is used, if you actually want to join the FPOS network here in Australia, you are actually required to use our PSIM solution to test, to certify, and then pass those results on to FPOS before they'll actually allow you onto their network. And so all the banks and fintechs who operate currently on the FPOS network are actually our clients currently. So I'll just give you a quick insight into the financial and commercials of our business. You're excited, Sam? So from a revenue point of view, I'm really looking at FY21 here. We're pro forma because of our acquisition was $8.5 million US, around 10 million Aussie. And that includes an annual recurring revenue from our license and support of 4.5 million from our existing client base. And from a product perspective, you can see the split there of 60% on Vertexo and 35% on our PSIM technology. And we have some other products, but we don't really promote them in the market other than through partnerships. And from a regional point of view, then Southeast Asia and Oceania have contributed over 70% of our revenues in FY21. And our other two focused regions in the US and Latin America are gaining momentum now as we're going through the strong and focused growth plans for this year. And we've just listed our top 10 clients there, and that contributes over 63% of our revenue and income. But that will start to mold as we move forward and start to bring on board new clients. And of course, all of the further financial information for those that want to have a look at it is available either through our website or on the ASX. But I want to just talk a little about our sort of go-to-market and strategy. We've come through a foundational and transformative year. And one of the things we did during that last year as we integrated the companies was really take a long, hard, strong look at the market on a global basis now. So we did actually work with Deloitte's global payments practice, and we completed an immersive session to develop a global go-to-market strategy that really looked at how we identify the drivers and impacts that are creating all that significant momentum in the payments industry that's causing this disruption. We got them to look at and examine what our capabilities were and what our global market opportunities were. And in addition to that, we had them validate our product roadmaps for both Vertexo and PSIM. And then, of course, we need to know what the competition was doing. So we asked them to do some work on insights for that particular plan going forward in terms of who is our competitors and how do we compete with them. And in doing so, what we did is we completed this 3-year strategy, which was to be competitive this year, to be different, and to be famous. And of course, our focus right now is on this year. So we're really focused on enhancing our payment solutions to grow through banks and early stage fintechs as our primary targets for the business. And that's effectively building on the sort of our core capabilities that we have inside the organization. Next 2 years, we'll focus on continued growth in the 4 main geographies globally that we currently operate in, and very focused on that. In terms of key highlights for the business on the next slide, then in this first quarter, we've delivered on a number of our key business priorities we set up last year in our go-to-market strategy. And that really was about accelerating revenue and client growth this year now that we've stabilized the business. So to operate our business in the US market, we do need to do something slightly different, and we finished in terms of who issues and who we work with. So we recently concluded a contract with Axiom Bank in Florida, who's going to be one of our major partners in the US to help us deliver new business into that region. And on top of that, we also secured one of our first new fintech clients in the US shortly after that. But one of the main things we did, as I indicated earlier, was really to combine our platforms, and we completed some great major milestones in that integration. And not only did we integrate all the platforms in record time, we did it on budget and in time, but we also we brought that up to a stage where we've now launched that into to a cloud environment here in Australia, and we're capable of actually taking that into any other regions within a matter of days and lifting that up. So one of the key things we've also been doing is looking at our staff and our board. So we've recently strengthened our board in Australia market, and that's just been recently announced. Now, from a brand awareness point of view, well, we've actually been really busy trying to get all things new done in our business. And well, we've actually made some big strides to increase our PR and our IR. And perhaps today is really all about that. And just looking at some of the sort of last quarter, how it's all come out for us. Well, We did actually recruit 4 business development managers over the last 8 months and put them in positions around the globe to really address that focus on the client sales and revenue growth. And green shoots have arrived miraculously. So we've now just secured some new customers and new opportunities in terms of implementing our solutions globally. And as you'll see from there, we did quite regularly report on our growth in terms of pipeline growth, and you can see that we've had a substantial 273% growth in our pipeline, which is very healthy, and we're looking forward to a really great year. And we've done a number of things around implementing, technology to ensure that we can manage our pipeline and watch that growth go. So from a partnership perspective, just to complete on that, then we do have over 13 partners in our business, and we're just going through a renewal, looking at all that, how we get some more indirect channels to market. But as I keep saying to my staff, it's we have great technology, great processes, but it's the people that make it work. So we've also spent this last year really strengthening out our C-suite, and you can see some of these amazing guys with the right technology, commercial and financial experience to really push the growth through for FY22. And that, thanks Tim, is the end of my little pitch.
Thanks, Alastair. Congratulations on such a massive global footprint. Can we go back a step and just kind of simplify this payments process at the moment? I mean, I buy a coffee, I tap on, and I'm being charged 6 cents. Who's taking that 6 cents? Is that the bank? Is that you guys are on a software as a service model? So I'm assuming it's not you. Is it your competitor? How is that all evolving at the moment?
Sure. Well, in the instance you're talking about, Tim, remember, we're a business-to-business provider, so we provide the solutions at this stage, and the banks implement it, and they are the key interaction between the consumer and the bank. So they'll be collecting the 6 cents. And to answer your question, we provide them with the solutions and the services, and we charge them fees for that. But to take that question to the next level, we've recognized that we can bring more value to our customers by offering a lot of the services that they currently do themselves. So to help them reduce cost and outsource a lot of that, we will start to take some of that on in a software as a service. And in doing so, what we will do is actually then start to pick up on that annuity and the transactional revenue as well. So we will, at one point in, and we're already commenced this now, we do it in the US for some of our operations there, where we actually do take a clip on the ticket in terms of transactions, rather than actually provide the software solution and support and maintenance. So we're moving very much into where the market wants to go, which is that we are sharing in the responsibility, but also taking a clip on each of the transaction.
Understood. And is the opportunity here, because we often hear this, and I know potentially they're your customers, but the technologies within the banks isn't efficient to provide this. So you're providing a white labeled service to the banks?
That is correct, yeah. So they can start to outsource a lot of what they would have as internal technology and computers and systems and networks and so on. They can give all that to us, including some of the services to manage those clients. So yeah, so it's the way that the market's going right now, and this is what's really top of mind for a lot of our major clients. They want to reduce cost and improve the technology, and often because of the scale of them, they could take 2 years to implement some of these solutions and technologies, whereas we actually have built it, and they can buy that from us and rent it from us, and then implement it across their own businesses.
And globally, where's your biggest opportunity at the moment?
Well, good question, because part of the global strategy that we did with Deloitte, in fact, identified that we have 4 main regions. As you can see, we're placed well to do that, but Southeast Asia, Oceania, US, and Latin America, which to us includes South at this stage. These are the 4 main regions that we are actually deliberately focusing on. And to answer your question, we see massive opportunities both in Southeast Asia and in Latin America. Why? Because there is lacking infrastructure, but a lot of people have mobile technology. The mobile penetration far exceeds what they would have by way of infrastructure, and that's what our clients want to deliver: banking services and payments through these technologies. So those 2 regions are significant to us in terms of growth, and that's beginning to show up right now relative to the growth in our pipeline too.
And is it all about growth? I mean, at what point are you profitable, and can you talk to what sort of growth you expect to see in the first, the next 1 to 3 years, rather?
Yeah, look, we're obviously behind the curve right now. We're heading towards that break-even point. It's difficult to give you an absolute accurate picture, and I suppose the guidance on that would be a bit sensitive in this call, but we are driving towards that break-even point, and also for growth is extremely important because we've spent, you know, the best part of last year actually integrating people, processes, technology, and now this is the full, we're going to market, full growth, full, you know, client acquisition, revenue growth in different areas. So, you know, we're looking at growth in line with market conditions. We should be growing if the industry is right by 30–40% per annum. And if for the right companies like us, that should be well above that. You know, we've seen some growth in the hundreds of percent. There's no reason we can't do that other than the boundaries of our own capacity. And we can figure that one out quickly.
And is it, from your competitors' perspective and from change perspective, is it a bit of a land grab out there at the moment? And do you see this kind of jigsaw coming together through acquisitions?
Well, in the market, I can see acquisitions being a part of the story. And in fact, interested in what Adrian was saying earlier. You know, I think we've got some of what he wants, and he may have something we need. So maybe there's a chat going on there. But
I'll organise that for you.
Yeah, thanks, mate. But yeah, look, I think acquisition is a key way to go. For us, we've just, you know, completed one within the last year after our cap raise. I don't think that's necessarily on our immediate horizon, but it's not something we're going to forego. We have other markets we play in. So it's about organic growth. We've now got the tech platforms, we've got the people, and the things are set up and really starting to motor for us. So for us, it's about just making the growth happen as a result of the investment and time people that we've actually put in the last year. So, yeah.
Thanks, Alastair. That's all we have time for. A great Australian story, and good luck out there.
Great. Thanks, Tim.
Thanks, everyone, for your time today. Have a nice weekend, and we'll see you next week.